Good morning on this glorious day. Just came from Hebrew school. It's so nice to see so many Yiddish Kinderlach celebrating their Judaism. You know, we're stuck between two elections, election in Israel and the election in America. And some might say that our countries are becoming more extreme and extreme, either to the right or to the left. And we all know as Jews, as you go to the extremes and you turn away from the center, it gets much more dangerous and you find anti-Semitism and hate on both extremes. But you know, Maimonides speaks about middle. Maimonides says never to take an extreme. Always take the middle of the road. But there was a very famous Hasidic master. His name was Reb Menachem Mendel of Kotz. He was a pretty extreme guy, so to speak, when it came to his Judaism. He didn't take the middle road. And they once asked him, why don't you take the middle road? And he took them to the window and he showed them. He says, look, this is a few hundred years ago in Russia. He says, who walks on the side of the roads? People. Who walks in the middle of the road? Horses. He says, the middle of the road is for horses. So who's right? Is it the Kotzker Rebbe or is it Maimonides? And the truth is that they're not arguing. You see, last week's Torah portion, we were introduced to Abraham, the end of Noach and the beginning of Lech Lecha this week. And Judaism in the Torah always has a supporting actor or actress. For example, this past week it was Lot, who allows you to see the difference between him and Abraham. But the week before, when we're introduced to Abraham, we learned about Terach, Abraham's father, and he has three sons. Nachar, Avram, and Haran. But Haran we don't hear about anymore. Haran was the father of Lot. What happened? The rabbis say that when Haran saw what was going on with Nimrod and Abraham, we know the story, that Nimrod wanted to throw Abraham into the fiery furnace unless he worshipped idols. And Abraham said, throw me in. And then they asked Haran, what do you say? Do you believe idols or do you worship one God like Abraham? And Haran said, I'll wait and see. Let me see what happens. I'll see if Abraham is successful. I'll be like Abraham. And if not, I'll be like Nimrod. So he waited. When he saw Abraham was thrown into the fiery furnace and suddenly it turned into a miraculous garden and he was saved, he says, I'll do the same. I'm with Abraham. They threw him in. And what happened? He got burned. He died. And that's why we never hear of him again. He's a supporting actor. But the rabbis say the problem with Haran was that he didn't want to take a side. He didn't want to commit himself to any side. He said, let me see what happens. He was a no-man situation. Now, the Arizal and the Kabbalists tell us something remarkable. That Aaron, the high priest, was a reincarnation, of Haran's soul. And he fixed it up. Now what do we see about Aaron? See, Aaron and Haran have the same Hebrew letters, Hey, Resh, Nun. But the only difference is that Aaron has an Aleph, one, which represents God in the front. We all know that Aaron was also a middleman. He always tried to make peace between people. But the rabbis say there's one huge difference. Some people, they're middle of the road because the only truth to them is no truth. They're middle of the road because they have no defining character about them. They have no faith in what they believe. So they're in the middle of the road because they have no road. But then there's people that go the middle of the road because they do so with conviction, because they believe in what they're saying, what they stand for. Say the rabbis, the biggest problem of Haran was that Haran was a no man's land. He was a middle of the road guy. If you take the three letters of his word, Hey, Resh, and Nun, anyone that knows Hebrew, Hey is the middle 5 between 1 and 10. Nun is 50, the middle between Chaf, between 10 and 100. And Resh is the middle of the three letters that go 100, 200, and 400. As we know, the Hebrew alphabet is numerical. Say the rabbis, Haran was a middleman, but not because of his conviction. He took the middle of the road the horse's way because he didn't want to have conviction, because he didn't have commitment, because there was no truth thing. It was all about convenience. Aaron took the middle of the road because he knew and he had faith in God and he knew about bringing people together and he knew that you never stay quiet and you always speak up. Why do I say this? Between two elections in America, and you know, we live in a generation where many people are ready to remain quiet while atrocious things happen, while people spew hate and anti-Semitism and racism. And they say, we're in the middle of the road, we're quiet. We saw it with the basketball players. Kyrie Irving tweets anti-Semitism, and even in an interview for 7 minutes, he refuses to apologize or to say that he believed the Holocaust happened or that he's not an anti-Semite. Yet all the big players in basketball who scream out all day about racism didn't open their mouth. Where was LeBron James? Where were all those people? And then we see, of course, in the other extreme, Kanye West spewed hate and anti-Semitism and tropes in the worst way. And where were all his friends on the right? Where were they? We didn't hear their voices. So there's a difference between being in the middle of the road because there's a truth and a conviction, and being there because you're a coward, because there is no truth that you hold. The only truth is no truth. My friends, we have to have conviction, and we have to stand up and speak up and be heard, because we can't learn from Haran, we have to learn from Aaron, and we have to rectify the mistakes of Haran. And only when we have strong conviction and we're ready to speak up to both sides of the aisle. And politics should never be the guide. So many people I speak to, they condemn anti-Semitism when it's the other side, but when it's their own side, they condone it. We should speak up regardless of what your political views are, regardless of which side you stand on. You have to have the courage to speak out against hate, against bigotry, against anti-Semitism, against racism, against homophobia, whichever way it may be. May Hashem bless us to live with conviction, to live with strength, to be like Aaron, and to take the middle road out of conviction. But when need to be, to go to the side of the road and speak up to all extremes and tell them that we stand for love, for peace, for truth, for happiness for all. God bless you, and enjoy this glorious day.